Welcome back to another episode of What's Up Belly Up. I like this. The music in the background, rocking out.
Yeah, I heard that.
I'm your host, Mike Brown. My co-host here, Zach Mack. I'm getting a little feedback there.
Are you playing it on your phone? Is it coming through your phone?
Oh, hell yeah. I'm a dumbass here. I'm trying to get shit. Oh, Jesus. Another you act like this is our first time we've ever been together. We've talked about this before. Anyways, yes, your host, Mike Brown, my co-host, Zach Mack. I appreciate that. Yes, I thought I was getting a little feedback. Zach called me out there. So how you doing tonight, Zach?
Yeah, doing swell. We were just talking before we hopped on here. I got 2 weeks left in Memphis. Then I'll be heading down to Florida where the palm trees are, the coconuts be falling, hopefully in my lap and all that. And, I know we're going to get talking about basketball a little bit later, but it sucks that I'll be leaving Memphis right as the Grizzlies are making a run.
Hot.
Yeah.
Hot.
Like, I want to say, I think I saw it was like the best run in franchise history. I know we'll get there. But anyways, doing well. Just got, more packing, more boxes everywhere. I try to keep them out of the studio area, but a couple leaked in here. But yeah, man, doing well. How are you doing? I mean, last time we talked, you had shit hitting the fan left and right.
It's funny you said that. So since my house almost didn't burn down last time, literally today the chimney people came out and were like, clean my stuff up and tell me like the damage, like nothing structural, nothing, nothing big. I just wanted to make sure they came out. Well, I got called into work, so I called my cousins and said, "Hey, can you come over?" And they're like, "Yeah, no problem." Well, long story short, my cousin, his kids were at school, so they called him. Something happened at school. He had to go, so he called his brother who came out. And so they were like talking, and there was like 3 different people and, what's going on, here and there. There you go, fired up. What's up, guys? But so really have no clue. They came out. They cleaned my chimney. I don't know what's going on. They said they were going to send us an email, kind of like what to do. But there was talk in passing that we are no longer ever to burn in our fireplace in our house. In our house, we just built it like 6 years ago. And this is like from my cousin to his brother to kind of like one of those phone tag games. Like I'm trying to get information, like trying to figure out what's going on. And then the company said they were going to email me. And I'm like, well, I hope they have my email. So I've got nothing. So I'm in the dark. So
wait,
luckily,
so you can't have a fire inside anymore. And that's on whose authority? Who's saying that?
Well, that's what I'm wondering. This is the chimney company that's certified to come out to clean my chimney, which I'm wondering if it's like they tell you that kind of like cover your ass thing. Like they come out and say, hey, we can't tell you can do this.
Drive out here ever again.
Yeah.
Don't do this.
So I'm in the dark, but luckily, heater's doing well. We're good. Supplemental heat is the fireplace. It was a nice luxury that we had. We paid extra money to put a nice fireplace in our house, and we're not sure if we're going to be able to use it again after 5 years. So yeah, I mean, good thing you're moving to the warmer weather. I'm in Ohio, which luckily in Ohio, winter really never hit too hard until just recently. We've had in the teens. So it hasn't been too bad, but of course the time that our fireplace is down is when it's this cold. So, but overall, the finger, I can move it. Still a little numbness, house still standing. Kids are a little sick, but I mean, that's life. Yeah, no, I'm not doing anything. I actually, we talked about, I hit the crown the last time. My wife told me that I pretty much, spent all of our insurance money up front, so I can't. So she says I need to suck up the finger. She's like, you need to figure it out because you're not going to pay a bunch of money. So that's what you get for marrying a nurse. So, but yes. So you guys are moving to some warm weather. Which Memphis? I mean, what do you during the winter? What kind of temperatures you guys see?
It still gets way colder here than I want it to. It was like 19 degrees the other day. I mean, today wasn't so bad. It was actually it got into the 60s today, but like. Normally, like this week, it's been like anywhere from like 30s to 40s. So nice. I'm looking forward to getting out of that. I think the lowest it gets in Tampa is like if on a bad day it'll get like 45, and that's like a low. So
yeah, I was gonna say usually, so not too bad there. So
yeah, I'll have to I'll jar up some like warm air and ship it to you, and then you could jar up some cold air and ship it to me, and we'll be.
That's what we gotta do. We'll just that's how we do it. So either way, but yes, we're getting into the thick of the playoffs. Week 18 is over with now. Obviously, playoffs. We're going to get into the NFC playoffs, the AFC playoffs. Then we'll talk a little college football. We'll start right off with the NFC playoffs. Green Bay Packers took that number 1 seed. We kind of talked about it last week. That was my team that I said absolutely, if they make it and they just can kind of walk through the playoffs, it's just going to be – there's just something – I don't know what it is. It's just Aaron Rodgers. That's exactly what it is. I despise him. He drives me nuts.
I wouldn't be surprised if he watches our show and he was like –
yeah,
he just
absolutely.
He won out just to piss you off, I think.
Yeah, and he and McAfee, they're actually probably as much as we talk shit about Aaron Rodgers and love McAfee, they're probably drawing up a big contract for us. So whatever you guys got to do, we'll talk about your Patriots. Didn't quite squeak in as well. I mean, they squeaked in, obviously, but with the path they were going on, they kind of felt like they were kind of coming on the radar. So we'll just get right into it. Obviously, the Packers number 1 seed NFC. You got the Buccaneers, number 2 Buccaneers versus number 7 Eagles, number 3 Cowboys versus number 6 49ers, which I think, that's a rivalry game. That's a matchup right there. And then you got your number 4 Rams versus your number 5 Cardinals, which I think that's starting to be a rivalry game. Do it a little backwards. Let's start from the bottom. Our Matthew Stafford, I think we both can claim Matthew Stafford from his time in Detroit versus number 5 Cardinals, which they've struggled with the Cardinals in the past. Matthew definitely hasn't played great outside of the beginning of the season. He's had a lot of Detroit still in him. How do you think this game is going to fare out? I mean, you got the number 4 Rams versus number 5 Cardinals. I think this is a crapshoot. Do you have a? Do you think? Are you pulling for your boy Matthew?
This one's tough for me, honestly.
Because I know, yes, you were heavy on Arizona.
Yeah, of all of the first round matchups, this is the toughest and I think this is the Monday night game. So it's super wild card weekend, I think, because it's like the first Monday night playoff game. I don't know. Somebody can fact check me on that, but I feel like I'm right on that.
Don't fact check anything from our show, please. Zach and I were talking off air about we have a few drinks during the show, and by the end of the show, we're like, I can't believe I said that. So
yeah,
either way. Anyway, sorry to cut you off.
So, oops. Dude, I want nothing more than to see Stafford succeed. If he wins the Super Bowl this year, I wouldn't be upset about that at all. I think that'd be cool. On the flip side, yeah, I still got that money that I put down on like week 10 on the Cardinals to win the Super Bowl. So I think I can cash that out. I only put $10 on it, I think, and I can cash it out for like $2. So DraftKings doesn't think the Cardinals are going to win. But it's going to be a good Monday Night Football game. I'm going to go ahead and pick, if I have to pick. I don't know if we're doing picks, but I'm going to pick the Cardinals in this game.
Sure, we will.
I think it's going to be a really good game. I really think either team could win, but I don't have I wouldn't be upset, I guess, to see either team win. How are you feeling for this one?
Honestly, I don't mind watching the Cardinals, obviously, again, with Stafford. Actually, it's funny because I don't know if you know this, but Kelly Stafford has a podcast, and she's kind of starting to get big. I mean, she's always been kind of big.
I think I knew that.
For people that don't
know,
I don't know either, but for people that don't know, Matthew Stafford has absolutely no social media. He stays off social media. He's one of those guys that like you absolutely want on your team because there's no distractions. And his wife is like the biggest distraction.
Yeah.
I mean, she's been called out quite a few times. She's
it's
got
like Pat Mahomes' girlfriend status.
Yes, or his brother, whatever. So, either way, she's got a show, and she literally, I mean, and she's pretty, vocal on a lot of things, but she said that last game, who was it? Against the Raiders, or I think, yeah, okay. So you're in SoFi Stadium, which this raised an eyebrow for a lot of people. So the LA Rams are essentially being treated like the LA Clippers of the NBA. So you got the LA Lakers are the main franchise in LA, and then you got the LA Rams that are like the Clippers, the secondary franchise, and they're saying that pretty much, the Raiders own anything. So I guess what she was saying is towards a majority of the game, or I'm sorry, it wasn't it was not the Raiders. It was San Francisco. Okay. So So she was saying that the entire game, almost the entire home game, because San Francisco traveled so well, Stafford was on a silent count because his team could not hear his count. And this is in your home ball field that is a brand new stadium, and that's how many fans from the other team essentially came. Which, I mean, no big deal. I mean, I get it, but that's exactly the comparison that was being made. Is they were the secondary team, which, I mean, I can kind of see that, but they were the secondary team in LA. Nobody really cared about them, so it'll be interesting to see. Obviously this is going to be
because they came from St. Louis. It doesn't surprise me that people in California
which there was
relate to that team.
Nobody from St. Louis is going to travel to see them or say.
And the Niners have been around since like Zeus.
Exactly. So it was kind of cool to hear that insight. You do hear some things from her that are very much from her husband, which obviously Matt would never say. And I say Matt like me and him are boys, but
we're boys.
But yes, either way, yes, I think we're obviously on the Rams Cardinals right now. We're spending a little more time on it. I think this game is more important to Cliff Kingsbury than it is to anybody, because he's even though they've been successful the past 2 years or whatever, I think he's drawn some heat, especially how they came up. McVay, I think he's always going to be. I feel like he's been a great coach from the beginning. Now he's got his quarterback. It's Stafford's definitely made the playoffs. Maybe with the Lions, never really had anything to say about it. Never had a win. So is Stafford. I do feel like Stafford's going to get his first win, and I mean, the Rams are all in. Obviously, the Rams are all in. You can see it by the roster what they're doing. They've got a very tough task. The Cardinals could have very well been the number 1 seed early on in the season.
It's also looking like J.J. Watt could be back for the Cardinals, though.
Yeah, so they're going to be healthy. But I do think the Rams. I think they're going to do everything to get Cooper Kupp the ball, to make sure that these guys. And I saw Cam Akers. I know he's rehabbing, but I don't think he's going to come off the list to play from that torn Achilles. But I know that they are getting a little healthier. So I think the homer in me is going to put the Stafford pick over, as far as I got the Rams over the Cardinals. So I know we talked about that quite a bit. So getting into the next one here, which again, we can talk quite a bit about, is number 3 Cowboys versus number 6 49ers. This is essentially a rivalry divisional game regardless. Great for the playoffs. Both these teams, I wouldn't say they've been irrelevant recently, because the Cowboys have always been consistent. It's nice to see the Niners get in with all their trials and tribulations with Jimmy G and Trey Lance and all that stuff. But you got the 3 Cowboys, number 6 Niners. How are you leaning in this game here?
I'm rooting for the Niners. It's a no-brainer for me. I like the Niners, and I despise the Cowboys with all.
It's America's team.
Yeah,
that's America's team.
Yeah, I don't know where America went wrong when it came to football, but I digress. And that I love Deebo Samuel. I know.
Yes.
Last episode, Dan was asking us to take Trey Lance off. I like Trey Lance too. I know that probably has nothing to do with this game, but I'm worried that the Cowboys are going to win this by double digits. I think they're very capable of doing so. It's really going to come down to the Niners defense, I think. I'm going to pick – I mean, if I had to put money on it, I'm picking the Cowboys, but I'm rooting hard for the Niners in that game. And I will say, we just got done talking about the Rams-Cardinals. Whoever wins that Rams-Cardinals game is who I'm rooting for in the NFC.
To run it?
Yeah.
So I think I'm with you there. I feel like as crazy as it is to say with the Cowboys offense, I feel like their offense is really good. I feel like Zeke squeaked out 1,000 yards this year. He really wasn't talked about outside of being maybe underperforming. Got a great receiving core. Obviously, Dak Prescott's back, but that defense is unbelievable for the Cowboys. And you got Micah Parsons, who could essentially be up for Defensive Player of the Year, not Defensive Rookie of the Year, Defensive Player. Although I think you're going to give that to TJ Watt for the Steelers. But Regardless, I mean, just that firepower on that side of the ball.
Yeah,
But I
because they
do
also
believe,
got Diggs, who led the league in interceptions,
well, yeah,
11
and
interceptions too. So
and then I saw the statistics everyone's talking about. Everybody that's not a Cowboys fan is saying, "Oh, yeah, but he gives up 1,000 yards a season, blah blah blah. He's one of the worst in pass defense, but he creates turnovers." So yeah, I'd rather have a guy that's going to give up 1,000 yards in a
yeah,
season, but also give me 11 other opportunities to
right.
get the
Yeah, me
ball back
too.
to my offense.
Yeah, please.
So I kind of feel the same way. I think Dallas is going to win it. I would love to see San Francisco squeak it out, but I just think Dallas has got too much firepower, too much defense, and there's too much. I wouldn't say turmoil because San Francisco is not in turmoil, but it'll be interesting to see if San Francisco loses this game, what's going to happen this upcoming season. Because they've always said they're committed to Jimmy G. They drafted the first round quarterback. They got a lot of good things going, but I feel the same thing. Cowboys. But my
I've
heart's
got
with San Francisco.
somewhat of a hot take on this is that I think that the 49ers are the tougher team to beat in this matchup. I think the Cowboys have a element that they could beat themselves kind of. They're so dynamic and they have so much firepower that they can light up the scoreboard for 50 points, if they want to. But they also, if things don't go right on drive 1 and 2, they can implode, whereas the Niners, I think, can stay the course. Yeah. So,
absolutely, I agree. Right now, just for those of you guys tuning in, we're live on YouTube, Twitter, and Tiki. Tiki TV is actually the very newest for Belly Up TV, so check that out. Obviously, we've talked in past, and Twitter you can't jump in the comments anymore on Twitter. So join us over on YouTube. We're tweeting it out right now. The link, jump in our comments. If there's anything that you want to hear, you want to see, whatever. Otherwise, join us on Tiki Live. But we appreciate you guys joining in.
Listening to the podcast,
yes, I was just going to say,
give us a comment, review something.
Absolutely. So we're obviously live Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern time on the media networks outlets, I guess I would say, that I just commented on. And then obviously we release our podcast version on Friday. So getting into our next grouping, we've got the number 2 Buccaneers versus number 7 Eagles. I'm not going to just, tell you who's going to win this game, but I think I'm probably going to tell you who's going to win this game. I think it was cool to see the Eagles squeak into this game. Rookie head coach, there was a lot of questions. I think, Jalen Hurts really played great this season. I know a lot of Philly fans really – it's crazy to me the microscope that Jalen Hurts is under, even though he's done absolutely nothing wrong, coming from Carson Wentz and all those guys. I feel like he had a great season, but I think Tom Brady, the number 2 Buccaneers, I think this is going to be an easy one. And I'm on. I don't have to talk about it. I'm all in on the Bucs.
Yeah, I am too. And honestly, who's the biggest Eagles fans this weekend are the Packers. I think the Buccaneers are the only team that scares the Packers.
Knock them off.
Yep. And I think we're gonna find out if the who the NFL refs like better. Is it Aaron Rodgers or is it Tom Brady? Because if Aaron Rodgers is in the back pocket of the NFL refs, don't be surprised to see some questionable calls go the Eagles' way. But if Tom Brady's got enough in their back pocket, he'll be fine.
So before we get, obviously there's nothing really to talk about the Packers, the number 1 seed, but talking about those two guys right there. So Aaron Rodgers, you had your team, you had your Patriots. We're gonna get to them. I'm gonna talk about my Packers right now. And when I say my Packers, this is the team that I didn't want to see make the playoffs. So say Aaron Rodgers situation right now. Say they ride off in the sunset, they win the Super Bowl. What do you think happens with Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers?
Wow, that's a tough question. I think it's going to depend. Honestly, I think it's going to depend on what happens in the draft again. I think he'll give them another chance if they win. Because here's the thing. Here's what I don't think enough people are talking about is the Packers drafted Jordan Love last year, right? And it's what started this whole drama with Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
And he's like, I'm not going to play. This is so disrespectful. I never get weapons, and y'all didn't draft another weapon. Instead, you drafted my replacement. And where are they? They're at the top of the NFL. So, obviously, the Green Bay organization knows what they're doing, and Aaron Rodgers doesn't. He's all about himself. So if they win the Super Bowl and then they go get him a wide receiver, I think he's going to stay. He's already got Devontae Adams there. But I wouldn't put it past the Packers to win the Super Bowl and just go out and get more linemen. Like, you've got no reason. You're already the best team in the NFL. You've got, unless you lose Aaron Rodgers, which is probably their biggest fear, but it worked out for them.
So then let me flip it. I know there's a lot of variables.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's not going to be a first round exit. A second round exit, maybe. But say they have a run in the playoffs, but they lose. I mean, are you still kind of on that same thing? Like, it's very much depicted on the draft to see what happens. Maybe he's more teetering on leaving, or maybe he's more like, okay, we're here. We need a few more pieces.
Yeah, I don't know Aaron Rodgers personally. We are most certainly not boys, and we never will be.
I think you guys hang out.
No, I mean, he could buy me a beer.
There's a vibe. There's a vibe thing. There's a vibe thing.
Yeah, we're not supposed to doubt those vibes too. So, no, I think, and again, I don't know him, but I think if they lose, he's gone. And I have no idea where he would go, though. I don't know where Aaron Rodgers fits, really. I mean,
you can go to Pittsburgh
Vegas.
Vegas. He's a West Coast dude, so yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways, enough about my pick of the Packers. I don't want to talk about them anymore. So we'll get into the AFC playoffs. Obviously, well, I shouldn't say obviously. The Tennessee Titans locked up the number 1 seed. So then you got your number 2 Chiefs versus number 7 Steelers, which that I think is going to be a game. Your number 3 Bills versus number 6 Patriots, and your number 4 Bengals versus Raiders. We'll start again on the bottom here. We'll go your number 4 Bengals versus number 5 Raiders. I think this should be a pretty good game. Love everything about Joey Burrows. I love the swag. I feel like he is slowly sliding into my Baker Mayfield heart, and Baker Mayfield is slowly sliding out. I feel like Joey B doesn't have to be arrogant, but he's got that swag about him. He's got that team around him. I do enjoy watching Derek Carr play, as goofy as he is. I think there's definitely some talent, and you gotta definitely congrats those guys for firing their coach in the middle of the season and still making the run. But I'm all on the Bengals. I love it. I think they can have a decent run. I don't think they're going to win it all, but I love everything about Joe Burrow and the young receiving core. Just outside of offensive line, that entire team is a talented group.
Yeah, I love pretty much everything you said. I love Joe Burrow, an absolute baller. A unit when it comes to buckling down and driving down the field and answering touchdowns. And I mean, I think the Bengals surpassed what a lot of people thought that they were going to do this year. I would pick the Raiders in this game if they still had John Gruden, but they don't, so I'm going Bengals.
There you go. Right to the point. Getting into the number 3 Bills, number 6 Patriots.
Are you picking the Bengals to win that game?
Oh yeah, yes.
Okay,
yes.
okay.
I'm taking the Bills.
You didn't make it very clear. I didn't know. Maybe my listening skills are piss poor. I don't know.
Nope. You're fine. As much as I mumble and don't know what the hell I'm talking about, yes, it probably is that bad. So, but get into the number 3 Bills versus the number 6 Zach Mack Patriots. The Patriots have surprised people. I think they've knocked off the teams that they shouldn't have, and they've lost to the teams that they shouldn't have. Kind of one of those things, shouldn't. This is your team, Zach, the Patriots. This is the team that, you just didn't want to see. Is there any concern for you that they're going to make a run, that they're going to knock off the Bills here?
No, I actually feel really good about this. I'm glad the Patriots ended up 6.
Best case scenario for you?
Yeah. Like, I was really worried they're going to be 1 or 2 and it'd be like a dangerous team coming to the playoffs.
It was looking like that for a minute, yeah.
Yeah, it was. And so that's why, hence my fear. But the fear has subsided. The Bills, I think, is one of the best, in my case, teams for the Patriots to be matched up against. I think the Bills will absolutely slaughter them. I know I'm going to end up swallowing those words, and it'll be a close game that comes down to a field goal probably. But they split the season series, and I feel like when the Patriots won the first game, it was kind of like a it's kind of like an iffy game. Whereas the second game, it was solid. Bills trounced them, did what they were supposed to do. It looked like how the game was supposed to be scripted. So I think the Bills are going to be ready. I think Josh Allen's going to, but who knows? Maybe Josh Allen gets COVID and Mitch Trubisky's got to be quarterback, and then obviously the Patriots are going to win by 20.
And then how would Bears fans feel if they ended up
or there'd be a double
one?
doink.
But all right, getting into the next game, which the number 2 Chiefs versus number 7 Steelers.
Wait. How do you feel about this Patriots Bills?
I guess I kind of jumped over that. I do feel like the Bills will take this, but Mac Jones, and it's crazy because depending on which media outlet you listen to, some people have Mac Jones as like the rookie of the year. He's had a great season, and some of them said they're absolutely not going to win because of Mac Jones, not because he's been horrible this year, but because he's a rookie and he's just not going to get
no experience.
So, yeah. So, but I think the Bills.
Let me ask you. How do you? Where are you on like the Mac Jones? Do you like Mac Jones?
Yeah, I do. Honestly, coming out of Alabama, being an Ohio State fan, there's a lot of hate for him. Yeah. Not that he ever did anything. I mean, he's just we've talked about it. And I'm not saying his statistics and what his makeup is going to be is that of Tom Brady, but he came out, there was nothing sexy about him. I mean, you look at him in college, that picture of him smoking a cigar without his t-shirt on, he had more baby fat on than my 2-year-old, like, I mean, when I'm thinking of this guy
working them babies out.
Yes. And this dude goes to the NFL and I'm not saying he lights it up but for rookie, he had a great campaign. You can't doubt the kid.
Yeah.
But I think he'll have a great career. I'm not saying he's going to have a Hall of Fame worthy career, but we've talked about it in past. I mean, if there's anybody you want to work with, it's Bill Belichick, and he's in the great situation. They're only going to build on the season, so we'll see. But there you go. Yeah, 0 degree Fahrenheit in Buffalo at game time on Saturday. So that's upstate New York, But yes, perfect timing.
This is why I brought it up. Timing. This is why I brought it up, because honestly, like Mac Jones, like you said, comes from Alabama. We don't like Alabama, and then goes to the Patriots. Obviously, I don't like the Patriots, but for some reason, I find myself rooting for Mac Jones, and I don't.
Oh, I do too.
I don't know why.
And for those of you guys listening at home, or listening to the podcast version again, we obviously we go live on Twitter, YouTube, and Tiki. For those of you that know Tiki Live, so when you're hearing the podcast version, we have viewers that comment, and we throw up the comments on the show and stuff like that. Kevin's obviously, we've talked about it week after week, and Ryan jumps in. We appreciate them, but definitely not slandering Mac Jones by any means. But like I said, the comparison between him and Tom Brady is very real. There's nothing. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I said. There's nothing sexy about him. There's nothing athletic about him. Looking at his build.
Read that comment.
But I think yes, Mac Jones rocking the dad bod. That's from Ryan McCarthy. That's exactly what I said. He's got more baby fat on him than my 2-year-old, but that's not a slight to him, especially. I early in the season, I said that Mac Jones could easily be the rookie of the year. I said that as far as offensive rookie of the year, if that's however you guys want to call it or whatever, but he's in the perfect scenario. Again, Belichick, they're set. They've got their quarterback bearing injury, which, knock on wood, that team usually at quarterback very rarely has those injuries, which maybe that's a Tom Brady thing, maybe not. But I think it's just good protection, good schemes, just different things. So I'm same thing. I don't watch the Patriots, but I tune in, and I still have that side of me. Is like, okay, this kid's for real. That's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to watch him, because I don't think, even though he was drafted early, I don't think that maybe people thought that he would essentially come in opening day, but as a rookie, and essentially play the way he's playing and take this team to the playoffs. So
now he gets to play the playoffs. And
so yes, nothing against Mac Jones by any means, especially being an Ohio State fan to an Alabama fan. I love me some Mac Jones. Definitely.
I know. I'm gonna throw Kevin's comment back up here. Mac is sexy. Stop slandering him, is what it said for those listening to the podcast. I don't know about sexy, but we're certainly not slandering him. And I just want to say I respect Kevin's Twitter account, because it's the only thing that reminds me on a day-to-day basis that Mac Jones' real name is McCorkle. Like I see it, like it's McCorkle Stan account. I see it every day, and I'm like, God, I always forget that's his real name.
And you know what? You probably just dropped a lot of knowledge because I don't think anybody knows that.
I mean, yeah,
outside
look
of
it up. I couldn't spell it,
Alabama alums.
but I'd have to look at Kevin's Twitter in order to spell it.
But anyways, getting into the number 2 Chiefs, 7 Steelers. Big Ben's last ride. I think that's the only reason. That's the there you go. Hold on.
I didn't even know that. There's another comment. It's actually his middle name.
Yep, it's actually his middle name. So yes, his full name is is that Michelle?
I'm gonna hope it's Michael and not Michelle.
I think it's Michael McCorkle Jones. So
maybe it is Michelle.
He spells it Michel. So I think that's Michelle to me. I'm a.
It's
but
Michelle
either way,
to me too. Yeah.
Yes, but either way, we get it. And even though I say not slandering an Alabama boy, I'm making fun of the name for no reason. So, but anyway, so again, number 2 Chiefs, number 7 Steelers. Yes, he couldn't spell. There we go. Okay, he just re-verified that. He pulled a Jared from corner booth, which is very true. So, number 2 Chiefs versus number 7 Steelers. Again, Big Ben's last ride. I think that's why. Did you see Big Ben's statement saying, we're pretty much everybody's counting us out. We're just going to go out there and have fun. We're not supposed to win this game. Let's just go have some fun. He pretty much came out and said that statement.
I didn't see that. No.
But potentially, obviously, any game that he's playing at this point, it's his last game. So I think because of that, it's gonna be a closer game. Although I can see the Chiefs kind of making it interesting for a while and then pull away late. So I'm on the Chiefs. Where are you at?
I mean, the thing here is that, like, I would normally say if this Steelers team was in the playoffs that they wouldn't score, but the saving grace is that the Chiefs defense is, kind of up and down, and you don't really know what Chiefs defense you're going to get on any given weekend. So Steelers could get lucky. I feel like they have to go into the bag of tricks and pull out some trick plays if they want to get a lot of points on the board. But I just see, Big Ben can't throw the ball down the field. Like the Pittsburgh offense is so boring to watch. And I was rooting. I don't know about you, but that last Week 18 scenario was so wild, and I was rooting so hard for a tie when that game went into overtime.
Yeah,
because I did not want to see the Steelers.
Vegas and I just felt like that was the closest to like the Ponzi scheme or some kind of Vegas setup. And all of a sudden, it was like, they tease it a little bit, and it's like, okay.
That's why I tweeted. I was like, even if this is scripted, you can't hate it because this script is so good that how can you plan out a year in advance? Like everybody released their schedules within this past week for the 2022 season. How can you pick a Week 18 matchup that essentially has that much at stake? And all of a sudden, these two teams could potentially tie, which you're seeing more ties here and there, but it's still not the most prevalent thing in the world. So yes, the whole thing about that, excuse me, is crazy. But I think you're on the Chiefs. I'm on the Chiefs. I think there's a lot in the Steelers locker room that's going to come out to the field that's going to make that maybe motor through it. I mean, who knows? Maybe Patrick Mahomes sends Big Ben packing and it's a shit show, but I don't see it being that way. Yeah.
And then obviously the Titans, the number 1 seed. But really quick, that was the last football there. Before we get into, that should be the last NFL. You talked about bag of tricks, and we gotta talk about the Detroit Lions every episode. What we were tweeting back and forth. Dan Campbell, Anthony Lynn was let go, rightfully so. He'll latch on with somebody. I get it. He was offense coordinator. He had a lot, but I feel like since Dan Campbell took over, put plays in he was a tight end in the NFL. A lot of tight ends. I feel like tight ends are like catchers or center. I could centers and tight ends. I feel like are catchers. They're the smart guys. They know the place. I feel like Dan
you got to block. You got to run routes. You got to
So what did you think about that game and the way that they ended the season. I mean, we saw some trick plays, but I mean, to be played that way, to set up the season, we're going to have the number 2 pick, so we're the second worst team in the league. But there's so much buzz this year about the Detroit Lions and being the second worst team in the NFL going into the 2022, I guess, essentially draft.
Yeah, I love this, and I know you tweeted about it. Something that your dad said about.
Oh yeah, how like them and the Jags were like back and forth. Like, here, you can have the number 1 pick. Nope, I raise you this. Like, they were just like based off of wins and stuff. Like, nope, nobody wanted the number 1 pick this year because we've talked about it 100 times, and I think every show's talked about it. There's really, I mean, outside of some DNs, like there's some clear-cut picks at that position. But if you don't need that position or you don't want to pay that position, you're really not going to go out your number 1 pick and waste it. So I feel like the Jags and Lions are trading off back and forth, even after the whole Urban debacle. But yeah, I think this in the same thing. We've had Kevin and Ryan in our comments last week. We talked about this last week. There's no clear-cut quarterback. There's no clear-cut, I mean, we've talked about it, but it's crazy to think like.
But that's what made what made me so happy with those 2 teams is right. You've got the number 1 pick is still in the balance, right? And it's only between 2 teams, and all the Jags have to do is lose to get the pick, and they don't. They go out there and they spoil the Colts, who all they had to do was win to get in the playoffs.
Win to make it, yeah.
Yeah. So they create havoc, and in the meantime, while they're creating havoc, they're giving up their number 1 pick. But at the same time, the Lions are like. No, we're not just going to lay down to get the number 1 pick either. We're going to go out there and ball. And like you said, bag of tricks. You got Dan Campbell calling the plays ever since the bye week, I think, which is like they went in the bye week 0 for 8 or 9 or whatever it was when they went in the bye week. And that's when he took over play calling. So it makes 100% sense that they let Anthony Lynn go because he didn't win a game calling plays. And since the bye, we went 3-4-1 or whatever it was. Not terrible. I mean, not great, but great compared to Lions standards. And so I just think it shows that like those guys want to play for Dan Campbell and he's going to draw up these trick plays and they're going to practice them to no end in practice. And they go out there and they execute them in the game because he believes, and all he does is he believes that these plays are going to work. And he just has to make them believe that they're going to work. All they do is their job on the field, So they go out there to do it. It's cool to see. And I said on last episode, it's awesome because we're 1-0 in Week 18s all time. The Packers are 0-1, so that's cool.
And the best part about that is I even said it like, okay, the Packers still came away with the number 1 seed even after losing. And that's why I said Aaron Rodgers, their starters really didn't have to play. But, okay, Aaron Rodgers, is the reason I hate him is because he's arrogant. So he's losing to Detroit. So I'm sure he's saying, I'm going to play 2 quarters where maybe I'm going to play the first series. No.
Oh, he looked pissed on the sideline.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong. It was a competitive game with Rodgers and them going back and forth. But as soon as Rodgers exited the game, then we started, pulling pretty much everything out. So that's exactly what I said. I said, because Aaron Rodgers is an asshole, he's going to have to play his whole game just to beat Detroit, which thank God we're not on that level yet. I can say that. The Lions are not on that level yet. So if Aaron did play that whole game, it could have been very different. But I like the fact that Dan Campbell was willing to do everything to win that game. There was nothing to lose. And I think that's what he realized, which I hope next season we get to a point where, okay, we're not talking about we have nothing to lose. We have everything to lose. So it's going to be a little different. So there's going to be a lot of growing pains. But overall, we've got a lot of talent per se that's on the roster that maybe probably didn't have a chance anywhere in the NFL that we've got a real opportunity to see. So I'm very interested to see going into the draft, going into the 53-man cuts and stuff like that, what that roster is actually going to turn out to be because, because there's actually some talent on there that I think may latch onto some other teams that probably is not going to fit in Detroit anymore just because we're going to get healthy. So
and I feel like I bring it up every episode, but we get Jeff Okudah back next year. And I know it still remains to be seen how effective he'll be, but it's promising to have that coming back and also a top pick.
And we talked about it last week. Yes, he's going to be going into his 3rd year, and really he's only played just under a full season. Like, he hasn't even played a full season. So there's still a lot to be said. He's coming off a major injury. Obviously, Achilles is a big thing. So we'll see. I think it's more going to be the tangibles and the physical ability for him is going to be there. I think it's going to be more mental, and the coaching staff just making sure that he's there. But yeah, so that's our Detroit Lions tidbits there. Had to jump them in there. So obviously we're going to get into NCAA football. Everybody watched the big game.
Isn't that crazy? 10
Yes,
games,
yes, in NCAA football, Zach and I did picks this year, and I pulled away early. I was feeling pretty good, and then the last few weeks, I just kind of shit the bed, and Zach kind of ran away from me. And I said there's no way in hell Alabama was going to lose this game. There's no way, Saban's the kind of guy that when you play this close, your mistakes, he's going to make up for those. Boy, was I wrong. Boy, was I bored for the first 3 quarters in all the field goals. I think the over-under, and my brother-in-law texted me and said, hey, should I take the over? I said, absolutely. I think it was like 56 or something or maybe even more than that. I said, they'll hit that in their first quarter. Dude, and again, I say this, don't take Zach's betting advice. I don't give you betting advice. But regardless, Zach's come out looking pretty sweet lately. So I was all on Alabama. Georgia wins that game big, obviously. First one in 40 years. I don't think people realize, too, they're not even talking about the Atlanta Braves. So this is big for Georgia. The Atlanta Braves won the World Series. First time in 40 years you see.
You're right. I didn't hear that connection until you just said it.
Yeah. So, Zach, how did you – is this watching this game or not watching this game? I was watching HGTV for a little bit, and then I heard it was a good game, so I turned it on. So, did you tune into it? Did you have to kind of same thing? No, didn't tune into it. Said, oh, this is kind of getting close. Maybe I'll turn it on.
So I stayed pretty, like I said, I wasn't going to watch it. And I stayed pretty disciplined. I didn't watch the first half. I was out to dinner actually with my girlfriend. And then we got home and didn't have much to do. So I turned it on and it got good. Like you said, the last, quarter and a half was pretty good. All field goals in the first half. But it still wasn't like, at the same time, like even as good as it was still Georgia versus Alabama, and it still was like, there was no, I don't know. There was just no there's no immaculate vibes to it. And
it wasn't exciting. The matchup wasn't exciting.
And then in the fourth quarter, I live bet Alabama money line, right? Because I adopted the Mike Brown thinking. I'm like, okay, Georgia's up by a touchdown. There's no way Saban loses this game, right? He knows what he's doing. He's going to come back. And then Georgia pick sixes it, wins the game. So I lost money betting on Alabama, who I didn't even think in the first place was going to win the game. It was just a terrible scene for me. Tough scene.
You swapped your ass up.
Don't want to relive that. But, yeah, it was like 42 years since Georgia won a national championship, which blew my mind, honestly. I was like –
yeah, actually, I saw it in the notes, and I was like, oh, wow, I didn't even put 2 and 2 together, too.
It was like 42. Like, that's insane for a team of that prestige, And what's funny is my girlfriend the next day had to travel to Atlanta for a couple of days for work. And so I'm like texting her. I'm like, are the streets going
crazy
wild? Like, yeah. Like literally the day after they won the chip. And she was like, no. She was downtown Atlanta, which I know, like, Georgia's out in Athens, but still. She was like, no, there's I don't see anybody doing anything. And I'm like, no wonder they don't win a championship in 42 years. No one gives a fuck.
No. That's our NCAA football. Obviously, being a Buckeye fan, Zach's a State fan. We've had our ups and downs this year. Kind of glad it's over with. Looking forward to next season. I love college football. Don't get me wrong. I hate to see football not played. But kind of revamp for next year. So we're looking forward to the Big Ten.
And there's gonna be some wild because they got all the NIL deals now and all the transfer portals.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Wild offseason.
We talked about it. The transfer portal was such bullshit. These kids. It just pisses me off. What is so funny?
I just love how much that riles you up every time it's brought up, dude. You're like, that's such bullshit.
You're talking about the consensus eventually the consensus number one pick eventually, Caleb Williams, transfers out of Oklahoma, and he still, I mean, is just kind of like on the board. Like, I mean, like, dude, that's unheard of. Your top recruits like that, never in a million years do these kids just say, fuck it, I'm out. And they're leaving a good, granted, your coach left, but I mean, like, I don't know. I mean,
I mean,
whatever.
honestly,
Call me an old man. Get
10,
off my
15
lawn.
years ago, if that would have happened, there would have been 16 ESPN segments and 72 blogs and nowadays
I don't
it's
know, whatever. I mean, don't get me wrong, and I'm not saying it's the students' fault. I mean, yeah, but it's not the students' fault because now they can chase the money. They can get the money regardless. And I don't necessarily think that transferring helps them or benefits. I mean, maybe exposure-wise and stuff like that, but either way, don't get me going. We're going to get into the NHL, the NBA, the NCAA, basketball. Return to Klay, one of the Splash Brothers, Golden State Warriors. Did you watch any? You seen any of that? Again, we always, rightfully so, we always kind of open about we're Pistons fans. We're not a huge NBA show here, but have you seen any Klay? I mean, have you seen his kind of comeback, his return?
I threw this on the agenda because I don't know if you saw there was I don't know if it was the NBA that. No, I think I only follow NBA on ESPN account. Anyways, there was this video. It's like a tribute video that was narrated by Steph Curry. Did you see that?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think I retweeted it and maybe, or either way, yes. Yeah. That's not.
So that was cool.
That's the reason I was kind of excited to see the whole situation transpire.
Because I truly do think that like he went through a lot, to get and he very easily could have been, like, I'm already an NBA champion. I've already accomplished this and that, and added on to the fact that I'll never live up to the shooter that Steph Curry is. So there's really no reason for me to come back because I've got my chips and I've got my rings. It's just cool to see him like work through all this to get back to the court, do what he loves. And I think he's a fun guy to watch. I mean, that one time he dropped like 37 in one quarter, and then he dropped like, a stupid amount of points without making like more than 10 dribbles or something like that. Like, again, I don't know. He's off the top of my head. I'm not an NBA guy, but I still know that he's done ridiculous things and he's a fun guy to watch. And I watched this game the other night against the Grizzlies, who I know we're going to talk about in a second. And it's just cool. It's cool. It's cool to see something like that. 2 years off of your sport and to come back and be in the starting lineup.
Significant injuries. Granted, you can recover from these injuries with these, like you said, these are year injuries. You lose a whole season from these injuries. So to come back, and I think that's what was exciting about it, is that Steph narrated that video to kind of give you a behind the scenes look about, okay, we're sitting here watching on TV these athletes that are making millions of dollars, and we get mad at them. And then there is a side of the sport where really we've got to sit back and say, these guys are humans, where and very, very much now the mental health aspect of the game is very true and very, very prevalent in a lot of sports, and rightfully so. I mean, it could have been easy, like what you said. Yeah, he could have rode off in the sunset and said, hey, I know I'm happy with everything. But also 2 years removed from the NBA, doing everything that you are used to, I mean, that could have taken you to a really, really rough spot in your life. So to be surrounded by his team, people that really cared about him, that just shows kind of how these leagues work for the better. You don't see it all across the board. Again, we talk about Matthew Stafford being one of those guys that he's like the ultimate teammate, the ultimate guy that you want to have, because he's not in the limelight for the negative aspect, where I feel like Klay is kind of the same way. He's one of those guys that kind of keeps to himself, and he goes out there and gets you W's and gets you points, depending on how you're looking at it. So, but yeah, so it was good to see him back. But yes, your Memphis Grizzlies. I know you're going to be leaving the big city soon, heading over to Tampa, but I know you saw it. Everybody saw it. We're a little removed from it. Was Morant's block at this point? It could be the block of the year, but it could also be the play of the year.
Dude, it could be like, aside from LeBron James's block against the Warriors in the finals, right, where he blocks Iguodala on the blocked by James, the call, and like this might be the best block. Like, he goes up, And for those of you who haven't seen it, you just Google John Morant block. That's all you got to do, and you'll see it. He goes up and he literally grabs the shot out of midair and pins it against the backboard. It's insane the hops that this guy's got. And you know what's funny about this is like John Morant's leading the Grizzlies to be a contender, right? And obviously they've got great locker room chemistry. There's like no egos over there, and everybody's playing for the team and playing for the city, and it's cool and all that. But like, Zion Williamson was the one drafted before John Morant, and dude is not even athletic enough to be in the NBA right now. Like he is like the Eddie Lacy of the NFL is Zion Williamson to the NBA. Like, he's a cheeseburger away from like not ever playing a game. Like, dude, when you come into camp, like, do you look at this guy and be like, what the hell did you do all offseason? Yeah, he's one supersized cheeseburger meal away from just hosting barbecues in his backyard for this. So
like, he literally drives by the fast food joint, and you have to have like security with him. Like, dude, to keep him away. It's
just so like it's so crazy to think that it's such a big difference between the number 1 and the number 2 overall pick. Like, that's crazy.
I mean, you see it all the time, but and that's why I said, like, I've talked about it before. Like, never in a million years would I thought Chris Paul would have been a great NBA player. He's proved me wrong because I was just like, there's just no way it's going to transition to the NBA. So it's hard to believe, but yes, your Memphis Grizzlies heating up right while the temperatures are dropping there, and you're going to move to the East Coast. But... I guess East. Southeast, I should say. So,
and now next to the Orlando Magic, and they're garbage.
There you go. I mean, yeah, whatever. So before we get into our last topic, Zach, I want to show you this. This is something that I'm very excited of that we've been working on. So you see this here. We got the old San Jose yearbook. Obviously, we got
for the podcast listeners. He's showing up San Jose Sharks yearbook.
Yes. Oh, yes, absolutely. Thank you for verifying. So that's nice. So something that we've been very fortunate of. We're actually featured in this.
Okay.
So yes. So if you can see that, there we are.
Where might I get that yearbook? Is that?
Yes, we're actually a sponsor here. So don't worry, I got some. I can send them to you.
Okay.
So we're actually a sponsor, and just so you know, we're also in the Buffalo Sabres this year.
Okay.
And not to get too crazy here, but I've never talked about all this. We never got a chance to talk about them, but here we go. Oh, so we just did the NFL. I'm just going to show you the sides. It's hard to see. It may be a glare.
Okay. A whole damn catalog.
Yes. So we got the Chargers. We got the Jaguars, which we can be proud to be in. We do have. Oh, this is a good one. You'll like this one. Here you go.
Yeah, I do like that one.
We're in Vegas. We're in the Cowboys. And we are in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So we're in I think 40 some game day programs this year. Very excited to be in those. Sorry if I'm cutting out. I'm looking back and forth here and there. I'm moving things around. So very excited to be involved with those. I wanted to show Zach that just for those of you, again, podcast version, if you're listening to us, we got the yearbooks, team yearbooks for 2021. We're featured in those. You can check those out. If you're interested, we have the what am I trying to say here? Jeez, Pete's, I don't know. I was actually gonna say I don't know. We have the online versions, I guess. We have the
that's what I was gonna say. That was my first guess. Yeah.
Yes. So there are links to those. Otherwise, we got the hard copies too. So very cool. We appreciate being a part of that. We've worked really hard to be in that, to be featured. So if you go to a game and you're buying a program, hey, we're going to be in that program more than likely. I got the Lakers today. The Lakers showed up to my house. I got a couple more coming in. So really cool. But enough about that. We're going to end the note. I mean, I guess we're going to end the show on a big note. Mm-hmm. I mean, what's your take on going to the rink and, taking her to Pound Town? I mean, are you just your boy Kodak? I mean, there's been multiple reports. I mean, did he seal the deal? Did he not seal the deal? Was he dancing? How you feeling?
I don't know.
Florida Panthers, what's up?
I know. I'm repping the hat today. Shout out
Yes.
Florida Panthers. I don't know. I'm still waiting on a text back from Kodak Black. He hasn't let me know yet, but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say that it's not on my bucket list because it might be, but getting that action at the rink. I saw a couple different angles. It certainly looks like he might have been doing the deed, but it's also inconclusive. There's a super close angle that shows him, possibly having his pants on, but he's got stuff covering his nether regions, and you don't know whether that zipper's up or that zipper's down. You don't know, and he said on Instagram Live or Facebook Live or something that he put the enchilada in the piñata. Okay, that's quotes around that. I didn't say that. Kodak said that enchilada in the piñata.
I didn't hear this. So that's great.
So I don't know. I don't know if we take his word for it. Maybe he just put the enchilada in the piñata at the hotel afterwards. I don't know. But
I mean, the best part about that is it went viral, and obviously it was like someone was like scanning and saw it happen, and then they immediately like moved the phone, and then they slowly like scanned back.
You had to send it to me. I was at the bar watching the Grizzlies.
Yeah, I asked you about it, and you're like, "What's going on?"
Yeah, because I texted you. I was like, I saw the NHL tweeted Kodak was there, but then they deleted it. What's going on? And you were like, you sent me the video, and I was like, oh god.
I mean, hey, whatever, man. I mean, maybe that's how you guys are going to roll in Tampa. What'd you say? You guys are going to a Lightning game as soon as you get in town, right?
Dude, that's the best part about it. Is it happened in Florida, right? It happened in Miami, Florida.
Yeah.
Like, they respect that more than they respect hockey in Miami, Yeah, they're like, rappers getting ass. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
A little, Zach Mack on the ones and twos. No, he's slapping cheeks over there.
Hey, if I get season tickets in the suites, you know what I'm going to be doing.
But anyways, yes, we definitely had to end the basic show, obviously, on that very prevalent to the sports news this year. Before we get to the roundtable, appreciate obviously you guys joining in. Again, we talk about this several times. We're live Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern time on Twitter, sometimes Facebook, most of the times Twitter, YouTube, and now Tiki Live. We'll be on Roku. We'll be on Amazon Prime. So a lot to look forward to. Look up for Belly Up TV. Really cool that we're being a part of that. Obviously, our podcast version releases on Friday, which will be tomorrow. So by the time you listen to this on a podcast version, you'll be a day behind. But either way, really cool. We got some cool producers that have been working with us, getting behind the scenes, really digging in. Zach's pointing off to the side. She's on the ones and twos over there. Like she's I say, ones and twos. Yeah, so appreciate her being on board. But Zach, I mean, I know we always kind of mention it. Sometimes we have sometimes we don't. There's one thing I want to mention, but I want to know: do you have any roundtable topics that you need to talk about?
Yes. See, I'm a quick learner. I'm a student of the trade, and you've been asking me a couple times if I have roundtable thoughts.
Like, no.
Yeah, I don't have any. So I started a Google Doc over here.
There we go, baby.
I have thoughts on. So the one I'm picking today is wings from Taco Bell. They keep talking about these. Was that yours or no?
No, you said wings. Okay. Hold on, we're on the same page. But go on.
No. Okay, so they're selling these wings from Taco Bell, right? And I had some buddies last week. Came into town. We went to the casino like all weekend. It was great. I'll tell that story another time. But they were like, "Let's get the wings from Taco Bell."
Are they doo-doo? Are they good?
Dude, I haven't had them. Here's the thing.
You didn't have.
Our partner's Colorcast, right? We'll be on Colorcast soon. So if y'all don't know what Colorcast is, go check it out. We'll be with them soon. They tweeted out a tweet that was like, the wings from Taco Bell. Nobody's talking about the wings from Taco Bell. They're a straight 10 out of 10, something like that. That's not verbatim, but pretty much what they said. I gave them a little eye rolling. I think I gave him the James Harden, response. And this is my thing. Like, I'm not going to go to Buffalo Wild Wings and order a taco, So why would I go to Taco Bell and order wings? They're going to be garbage. You can tell me they're 10 out of 10 as many times as you want. I guarantee you as soon as I bite them in, I'm like, these are garbage, That's just my thing. That's all I want to say. Don't go get the wings from Taco Bell. Don't do it.
Oh, there you go. Keeping it on wings, my take here is I'm surprised Zach didn't mention this. How are we not talking about Lindstrom?
Oh
Nikki,
my goodness! How did we
coming
not
to
talk
the
about
Wings.
that?
Get the boys back together, rally the troops.
Oh,
I mean, how
my
excited are
goodness.
you for this?
Dude, I am so excited. I see we just hit an hour, so I don't know how much time we have here, but
We got to cut her short. Yes.
it's nostalgic. We might have to go in depth on this next time because you're right.
I'm good with that. Next week we'll
I'm
elaborate on
so
this.
ashamed we didn't talk about
There
that.
is absolutely no correlation that this is going to mean anything as far as
Right.
hockey translation, but the fact that we're getting the boys back together, Detroit hockey is trying to be relevant again. Looking forward to it. That's put it on the topics we're going to talk about next week. Even
Sergei
if it's a week
Fedorov,
removed.
that's all we're missing is we just need Sergei
I
Fedorov.
was going to say, get the Russian five together. Who cares? Just bring them all. But Zach, we'll get the producer on it. We'll talk about this next week. I had to bring that to the table because I thought you'd have a little something to say. So, which I know you do, but we don't want to go too long. So,
but I will shout out, since you're talking about Wings, Dylan Larkin today named an All-Star. So, congrats to Dylan Larkin.
Hey,
he's our captain. Let's go, buddy.
Absolutely good to see. I know there's been a lot of ups and downs for him this year, which obviously he's had a pretty good season. But either way, good to see that. In Detroit the past 20 years, there's not been Pro Bowls.
We're due something.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, individual. We'll definitely get behind the individual. So, but anyways, Zach, I appreciate. We're right at an hour, like we said. Jumping on, all you guys jumping in our comments. Feel free every week. Obviously, Thursday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern time. We're live on Twitter. We're live on YouTube. Usually, find us on YouTube. That's how you can jump in the comments. Twitter, turn that shit off. So we need to figure something out there. But jump in the comments, man. If you want to talk about something, throw them up here. We'll definitely enlighten you or pretend to. But either way, join us next week. We'll definitely lead off with a little Lindstrom Red Wings talk. But yeah, overall, great show. Appreciate you being here. Zach's getting ready to pack up and move. So we'll see where things go. We may be. I may have to add a guest. Zach can be moving in. Who knows what's going to happen?
We'll for sure be here next
week. If he has the internet when he moves right in. So
yeah.
But either way, appreciate you guys joining in. I'm Mike. Zach, it's Zach Mack here on Twitter. Co-host here. Appreciate you guys joining in. Again, we'll see you next week in some form.